Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. Today we present Awaken Sunday Live Q&A. Pranayama, the fourth limb of yoga. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jennifer. Nice to see you again, or at least your icon. So, great meditation this morning. I really get into the meditations, very able to produce and go right into the experience, go right into that place. And I always welcome feedback. So if you participated in the meditation and you found it beneficial, you really enjoyed it, if there's certain styles you like more than others, certainly let me know. Because the goal, of course, is to provide you with ways to help wake you up, ways to help open the door, ways to serve you in contacting your higher self. And that's what the fourth limb of yoga is all about as well. The fourth limb of yoga is known as pranayama, and it's actually two words. It is not only prana, which can be thought of as the vital force or chi. I like to call it the divine breath of life, the underlying energy that illuminates all things. On a more off-the-wall wacky note, you can think of it as, the drug that animates all the zombies. Because that's really what it is. It is that which animates all of life, all of relative creation, all of this relative universe. It is that which animates it. It animates us as well. Now, when we look at yamas, the word speaks more of control than it does directing. But I don't believe that that's actually the way to view it. To me, it's about directing that energy. Much like water, you'll notice the one quality about water is if you try and control water, we dam it up, for example. Sooner or later, at one time or another, the dam's going to rupture. And the reason the dam ruptures and needs constant repairs is that when you contain water in a vessel, that water is prone to all sorts of movement from environmental stresses, all sorts of different things that happen in the environment. And it sloshes around in that container. And if you try to push up and hold water back, of course, it's an immense force. Almost impossible. It takes huge amounts of concrete, huge amounts of ironworks and gigantic construction to do so. But it is so much easier to direct, to channel water, to guide it, to create curves and bends and allow the water to flow and use the principles that go along with that water to your advantage. And that's very much what pranayama is all about. Pranayama is all about directing the breath and making use of that vital force, making use of that divine breath of life. One of the really interesting things, and Yogananda was quite famous for this back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and into the 80s as well. When I met the man, we were down in California at the time, and it was hot, blistering hot. And this man did not have a bead of sweat on him. As a matter of fact, touching his skin was cool to the touch. And he could stand outside all day in the heat and never sweat a drop. The skin remained cool. And I remember talking to him one time about the technique, and it's a breathing technique that you can engage in. You can use the breath to heat or cool the body. And we have seen anecdotal evidence of this, and I have seen direct evidence of this in Tibet, where monks will stay outside in the snowstorms all night meditating. And in the morning, they will be bone dry, and there will be a circle of grass around them. and then all the snow. They're able to use the breath and generate so much heat all night long in that posture. And that is through control of that life energy, control of that breath. This breath is one of the best uses of the breath, of course, is in helping us to maintain focus, helping us to maintain present moment awareness when we meditate and in our daily lives, in every moment of the day. You know, the breath is this amazing tool that we are given. And this tool allows us, constantly reminds us who is breathing. Because it's not you. You can become aware of your breath, but it is not you breathing. As I said, you can direct the breath. You can channel the breath like you can channel a river. But it is not you who's doing the breathing. And whether you measure life in years or breaths, we could say that we have a finite number of breaths granted to us. And it was believed in India by many of the yogis that one of the ways to extend life, to extend your health, was to direct the breath, to learn to breathe more deeply and more relaxed. And we're going to talk about a few of those different practices today. So prana, again, is that energy, that life energy. And we're talking about directing and guiding it. Now, there are many people who will say that you should only practice pranayama. Ah, hello, Cindy. Nice to see you too. Or at least see your icon. Your icon has a little tiny picture on it. I can sort of, yeah, I can see you. Well, it's about time you showed up. No, honestly, we miss you when you're not here. We really do. You have a great sense of humor, and you always contribute, and it's just great to see you, as is always to see Jennifer, too. So the type of breathing we're going to talk about, let me get back on track here for a moment. There's many people who will say you should never practice pranayama except under the tutelage of a trained pranayama teacher. And there's not a lot of them out there. Not in North America, okay, that I've found. I've also found that statement isn't true most of the time. What's really necessary is that you practice, as with anything, in a state of awareness about what's happening to you, how you're feeling. Yeah, we miss seeing you live too. Although when I'm dead, you'll have to watch me dead live. Dead. But live. That'll be weird. So we're going to talk about a particular type of pranayama, and this is an example of how simple this can be. And this is known as Shitali breathing. And Shitali breathing is one of those breathing techniques that actually helps cool the body, helps you feel much cooler on a hot day. And you can practice this at any time. And as a matter of fact, if you were to incorporate this practice for 5 to 10 minutes every day, there are many profound benefits simply from directing and guiding the breath. Appetite control. Shitali breathing is wonderful for helping control the appetite. It also works to help balance and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which will leave you feeling relaxed and at ease. Shitali breathing is also fantastic for anxiety, for managing stress, and it really is a simple practice that you can do at home. And again, I recommend maybe 5 to 10 minutes every day. So the beginning or the beginner practice of Shitali breathing is essentially a deep breathing technique. And this technique allows you to cool your body at the same time that you get to relax yourself, do your nervous system some good, and generally feel more at ease and more at peace. So what you would do is you would inhale through the mouth for 4 seconds and roll your tongue back as you do so. So, you just have to take your tongue and put the tip of it up on the roof of your mouth, like that. And then you want to breathe in only through your mouth, and when you do, you will feel air rush by your tongue, and that air will feel very cool, and it sounds sort of like this. When you inhale, you'll feel that cool inhale, and it will cool all the way down into your core. And then you will exhale through your nostrils at a slower pace for 6 seconds. Over time, you can ramp up this practice a tiny bit by doing it in 4 seconds for the inhale and 8 on the exhale, or 5 and 10, or 6 and 12. Now, this simple practice alone, practiced 5 to 10 minutes every day, will have a profound effect on your overall health. That's how powerful that energy of life is. And when it comes to our breath, there are so many amazing attributes. It is great for everything, actually. I gotta say this just in case there's any confusion. Breathing is great for everything. Otherwise, you'd be dead. But no, this particular practice is really simple, really easy to do, and what mindful breathing does is create mindfulness. You become aware. It also adds a great tool to make you more present and cool yourself down. And I'd really like everyone to try, and whoever's watching, if you feel you can, comment and let me know if you feel that coolness when you inhale. And you want to inhale through your mouth, roll the tongue up, and you'll feel that cooling sensation. And then you want to exhale slowly through the nostrils. And that is the beautiful gift about the breath. Breath awareness brings more awareness. Our breath is a tool designed specifically for now. It is a tool designed for the present moment. It is designed, why? Because it keeps us alive. Yeah, we wouldn't be in the present moment if it wasn't for our breath, granted. More importantly, though, our breath keeps us focused if we allow it. And it really is the simplest, cheapest, and most profound beneficial practice that you'll ever engage in. Please stop spending money trying to learn how to practice spirituality better. You never need to. Watch your breath. Become aware of your breath. Start practicing some of the various pranayama techniques. Bring even this one simple practice coupled with even just 1 to 2 minutes of conscious breathing numerous times a day, and a year from now, your level of conscious awakening and how you feel about your existence in life will literally blow you away in comparison to today. That's the truth of that. And it's free, exactly. And you know what? I like free. I really do. Free is the way things should always be. Free. Just like me. One of the beautiful things about our breath is that it allows us indicators of our growing ego states. So you'll notice, for example, as you're thinking thoughts that are coming to risk of making you angry because your body is reacting, creating feelings around your thoughts. Even before your body reacts by creating those feelings, your breath will change. You will notice your breath begin to get more shallow, more sharp. You will notice all sorts of symptoms that go along with that. It's the same as when you're near someone who relaxes you. You will notice that your breath deepens when you feel at peace around someone. If you face anxiety and stress, you will notice your breath and your breathing increase prior to the onset of an anxiety attack or a stress event. Exactly. And when you do get angry, you literally do get heated up. And that one moment of having a conscious breath or two can be all the difference between falling into unconsciousness and exploding in your rage, or simply watching it and letting it go. Breathing restores presence. It always does. In the singular breath, in that single inhale and exhale that you watch in conscious awareness, you are 100% present in that moment. In that moment of that one conscious breath, there is nothing wrong in your existence. Try it with me right now. Watch closely and simply allow yourself to take one natural inhale and one natural exhale. If you're watching your breath really, really closely, if you're giving your breath all your attention, there's no other thoughts going on. And in that moment, sublime perfection reigns. That is that still space. On the exhale, you're closing your mouth. So you can drop the tongue, or, for me, for sake of argument, I was taught a lot of meditative techniques, keeping the tongue plastered to the roof of the mouth to help connect energy points. So I will often just leave my tongue there and just breathe in through the mouth, and then close your mouth and exhale through the nostrils. And leaving the tongue there can be a little easier than up and down, up and down. It eventually feels like kind of flapping in the wind. Literally. Now, you may notice initially a little bit of throat dryness from the cool air. So don't be afraid to stop and take a little sip of water. No harm at all. And it will literally cool you. You will feel so much more cooler. And you can go ahead and take your heart rate, your sitting heart rate, prior to doing this for 5 to 10 minutes, and see what happens 10 minutes later, and you will see a nice drop in your heart rate. Now, there is only one thing to bring up with this particular type of breathing. If you suffer from low blood pressure, this breathing will actually lower your blood pressure as well. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of how you're feeling. Only practice it. Don't practice it until you're feeling dizzy and, seeing 6 of everything. Even just a few minutes, if you suffer from low blood pressure, will be beneficial to you. So as I said, our breath restores balance. It restores presence. It gives us the opportunity to come right back to that present moment. Right back to now. Right back to where everything truly exists. And we are given that gift, that wonderful tool. Now, there are certain blocks that are used quite effectively in pranayama, and those are known as bandas. Okay, and one of the yoga poses I do, it's essentially an upside down wheelbarrow pose where my neck looks like it's going to snap off, and my spine is up wrapped around my head, and my feet are out behind me on the floor. Kelly's seen it, and it drives her nuts. In that particular pose, your esophagus and your ability to breathe through your mouth and nose is severely constricted. And what it actually does is it helps to induce a state whereby you can actually have a satori moment, a divine experience, within 5 to 7 minutes of holding that yoga position. And one of the reasons being is your brain is getting starved for oxygen. Okay? But with the intent and with the mindfulness, it works. I would not encourage you to practice any bandas or blocks without careful practice. And always better to do those sort of blocks with someone else present, just in case you actually end up passing out and you wouldn't want your tongue to get stuck down your throat or anything. So, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal if it were to happen. Someone could just roll you on your side and leave you there. You'll wake up sooner or later. No, it's never that bad. I mean, yeah, it's akin to making it very difficult for you to breathe. You're still able to breathe, but it takes a lot more effort. It increases the lung power. It helps build and strengthen the muscles around your lungs and in your chest that are responsible for helping to inflate and deflate your lungs. So do look into these sort of things. Many of the ailments that we find common every day, and more people are living longer, but they're not healthy living longer. They're daily suffering from the pokes and jabs of all the little mosquito-y ailments that they have going on are piling up. Breathing, pranayama, learning to guide and direct the energy of life, the energy, that vibrational matrix that allows us to exist here in this relative form. It will benefit you on every level. Yogic breathing instruction, again, a little difficult. I really recommend you take use of one of the most wonderful resources we have, and that, of course, is YouTube. Go through, see for yourself, pay attention to the comments, take a look and see who's really making an effort to bring a quality breathing instruction to the table. I don't recommend you engage in long-term practice up front. Keep everything down to a few minutes, to 5 minutes, to 10 minutes, and gradually work on increasing. Don't feel you can never mess this up. There is no way of breathing the human body can do by accident or on purpose that's going to cause you to turn inside out or split into two beings or anything else weird like that happening, or kill you or give you a brain aneurysm. The worst that can happen is you may pass out from a lack, if you hyperventilate, and it can happen. Do give it a shot. Your breath is an amazing tool. It is specifically designed to help keep you right here, right now. And you've had a long time practicing already. The difference is now you can begin to do so with your awareness on it. You can begin to see how even 1 or 2 conscious, slow breaths can take away most of the stress that you're feeling in any one given moment. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift. That's really all about I have today. Today I know is a little bit shorter. If anyone has any questions about pranayama or about using the breath, with the Shitali breathing, it is best to be sitting upright in a chair with your back up against the chair so that your back can maintain its natural curve. And as with all things that we do in our spiritual practices, whether it's a breathing practice or whether it's a meditative practice or yoga, give it your full attention and mindfulness. Try to be as present as possible. When I say you're a powerful spiritual being, imagine running into a royalty from a different realm. You just happen to be walking along and you meet this glowing angelic figure who has such presence that you literally feel by default that you should be on your knees. That's your first reaction is like, I am in front of divine presence. And in those sort of moments, imagine the amount of attentive awareness you would have of what was happening. Imagine the amount of focus you would have on the experience that was going on right now. And now remember that that's what you are. Every time you come to that meditation pillow, every time you choose to breathe, every time you choose to practice consciously, any of the things that lead to your higher awareness, that lead to evolving your experience, always, always, always come to it with a sense of sacredness and of full attentive awareness, because we are always in the presence of divinity. Always. Namaste to you all. Much love. Look forward to Wednesday and seeing some more posts this week. We'll be heading out kayaking tomorrow morning, so really looking forward to bringing back some more pictures for you. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Take care.